Hey guys, so in today's new video I'm going to be talking about the books that I've read since March because the last monthly reads video I did was the books I read in March, so I have to go over April, May, and June. So you're going to see from this video that I did not read a lot of books in the past few months, and I'm not going to go over why again, but you guys know, things were crazy with school, yada yada. I couldn't read as much as I wanted to, so fast forward a little bit later and I've only read a few books since then, and I've only read a handful of books since the beginning of the year. So it's kind of been a little bit of a failure on my part in terms of reading, but I did read some good books in the months of April and May because I didn't read any books in June because June was like a crazy month. June is probably my least favorite month of the year because it's so hectic. So if you're interested to see the few books I did read, then stay tuned. Alright guys, so for the month of April I only read 2 books, and those books were for my English class, so they weren't that exciting, but I'll tell you about them anyway. The first book I read, I don't actually have a copy because it was the school's copy and I had to give it back, and it was called Anil's Ghost by Ondaatje, and it was kind of brutal to get through, to be honest. I actually ended up reading it twice, once over the March break, but I didn't actually end up finishing it all over the March break. I read most of it. I ended up finishing the second read through in April. It was okay. I wouldn't recommend it right off the hand. If you're looking for a good book, I wouldn't be like, Anil's Ghost, yeah, go pick it up. Yeah, no, not at all. It was good for the purpose of the class and writing an essay on it, but as a hobby, I would never read it in my spare time. So with that being said, it was still pretty decent. I definitely wouldn't recommend it for teens, but if you are an older reader and maybe enjoy this type of novel, then I definitely would say go for it. It's just for me, it wasn't that good, but it wasn't that bad either. It was okay. It basically follows a woman who is returning to Sri Lanka at the time of civil war, and she's dealing with a lot of problems, and she's going back to kind of solve the mystery that has to do with the recurrent deaths that are taking place there because of the war, and they come across a skeleton that they kind of associate all the deaths with, and they feel that in order to solve everything, they're going to find the identity of the skeleton, who they named Sailor. It's just that the narrative and the way it played out was really confusing because it isn't in chronological order. It's in very scrambled and all over the place in the future and the past, so that part was a little weird to get through. But overall, it was okay. It was a book for school, so hey, I mean, they never really end up being that good, so it was okay, but not my favorite. The last book I read in April is one that I talked about in my book haul that I posted on Monday, and it is The Sisters Brothers by DeWitt, and this takes place in the 1850s at the time of the gold rush, where 2 brothers named Eli and Charlie are super cool cowboys and assassins. Basically, they're given jobs to do by their boss, which is the Commodore, and they basically have to go out and kill these men for their boss, and it follows them along on their journey and their problems and their struggles and all these different things that happen to them. It really does play out like a movie, so for that reason I really enjoyed it. It was something different and unique, and I'm glad I chose it for my ISU study in English class because it didn't really feel like a project. It felt like I was reading for fun, and I'd never really get that experience in school. So aside from having to do this for school, I would definitely recommend it out there for if you're looking for something different, because for me it was definitely different, really unique, and just so much fun to read. I give it around 4.5 out of 5. Definitely recommend it. A lot of fun. Maybe not for all the readers out there, but for me it really surprised me, and I'm thankful to have read it for English class. Alright, so that's it for April. In May, I did read a little bit more. I read 3 books, so I guess it's better than nothing, but it's not that great either. Anyway, I did read some good books, so I'll start off by showing you the first book I read in May, which was The Elite by Kiera, and this is the sequel to The Selection. The Selection follows a girl in a very dystopian world where literally the bachelor comes to life because the prince is looking for his princess, so they bring all these girls together in the palace and go through the selection process in order to find his one true soulmate. Although it does sound a little cheesy, it is not executed in that way. Kiera makes it as serious as she can, and there's just so many elements to it that make it so enjoyable, and it's fun at the same time, and it's just great to follow the main character through this process. I really enjoyed the first book, and this sequel was actually very, very good. I'd say that I like the first book more, but this one was great. There's a lot of things that happen, and at times I was kind of frustrated with the main character, whose name is America, but Other than that, I really have nothing else to complain about. The romance was good, the plots, the way things played out was great. Like I said, the character kind of frustrated me, but hey, I think that's normal and I think you kind of need that. I think I gave it a 4 to a 4.5 out of 5. Solid sequel, pretty good. I guess it could have been kind of better, but overall I really liked it. Definitely check out the selection if you haven't read it. It was great. So the second book I read in May is The Book of Broken Hearts by Sarah Ockler, and this follows a young girl named Jude who's dealing with a lot of problems in her life because her father has Alzheimer's disease and it gets worse by the day, and he has his ups and downs, and it gets to the point where it's kind of scary because he acts in a way that is very unlike who he really is, and he forgets more and more as the weeks pass, the months go by, and the only thing he seems to hold on to is the memories of his motorcycle. So she decides that the only way to fix him is to fix his motorcycle. She ends up finding the help of a young, hot guy to help her fix the motorcycle, and along the way, she kind of builds a relationship with him and tries to fix hers with her father. And the whole relationship with her and her father was great. I really enjoyed it. It was sincere and emotional, but I found the romance lacking and it was a little cheesy and too rushed. So for that reason, it wasn't as enjoyable as her previous novels, but I still really liked it. I gave it around a 3 out of 5. Some parts were better than others, and overall I thought it was cute, kind of fluffy and enjoyable, and the serious moments with her father were really great. So I think I would recommend it. It all depends on the reader, but for me it wasn't as good as her previous novels. The last book I read in May is Dreamland by Sarah Dessen, and I have to say it's probably my least favorite book by Sarah Dessen, and it was a little strange. It's not what I expected, and I didn't really enjoy it as much as I thought I would. It was much more serious than I expected, and those moments kind of, I don't know, were kind of weird to me because I don't really usually read books with such a serious plot and such serious events, and it kind of was, I don't know, unusual for me, so for that reason I didn't really like it as much. Some things caught me off guard. I didn't really love the main character or any of the characters. She starts dating a guy, which kind of sends her in this very dark path, and that path's not what I expected, so it was very different for me. So for that reason I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. It was pretty short, so I couldn't get too invested in it, and it was kind of hard, I don't know, to get really fully committed to the characters and the plot, so it was okay. I think I gave it around 2.5 to a 3 out of 5. Not my favorite of hers. She has so many other better novels in my opinion that this one fell flat for me. So like I said before, I read no books in June, so those were all the books I read in April and May, so I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry it wasn't as many books, but hey, that's all I had time to read. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed my video, and I'll see you in my next one, which will be posted on Sunday. Bye!